Chosen one, why did you wake up at 34 to say am this morning with your heart pounding? Why does your chest feel heavy right now? Like something's pressing down that you can't name. Why after all these years of praying? Does it feel like God went silent the moment you needed him most? Stop right there. This message wasn't scheduled. It was sent. Heaven didn't just allow you to find this, heaven rerouted your entire day to get you here. At this exact second, your name is being spoken in the courts of the Almighty. Not whispered, thundered. Picture this, you're sitting in that old chair, the one that's molded to your body after all these years. And suddenly, you find a letter tucked inside your Bible, the one collecting dust on the nightstand. The envelope is worn, like it's been waiting decades. But when you open it, the date written inside is today. That's what's happening right now. God has been holding something for you, something sealed, something sacred, and he just said, now. Deliver it now. You didn't stumble here, beloved. You were summoned. If something in your spirit just shifted, if your hands went cold or your eyes started burning, don't ignore it. Type, I'm listening in the comments right now. Don't wait. Don't second guess. Heaven is watching to see who responds. Before we go deeper, I need to pause and thank every single soul who has supported this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just giving. You're helping spread light to others who feel abandoned in their calling. Whether you sow a seed today or not, I'm profoundly grateful for your presence here. Your time, your attention, your open heart. It all matters to God. I know what you've been carrying. The loneliness that sits at your kitchen table every morning. The phone that doesn't ring like it used to. Your grown children busy, distant, living lives you're no longer part of. The world spinning faster while you feel slower. The prayers you've whispered for years that still haven't been answered. You've been carrying things alone longer than anyone knows, longer than anyone sees. But heaven knows. Heaven has been counting every tear, recording every midnight cry, cataloging every moment you whispered, God, have you forgotten me? And tonight, heaven intervenes. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. What you're about to hear in the next few minutes will explain why the last 3 years felt like walking through wet concrete. Why every step forward felt like dragging chains. Why your prayers seemed to echo in an empty room. But more than that, it will reveal what God has been protecting you from while you thought he was ignoring you. Don't move. Don't scroll. What comes next will change everything you thought you knew about your story. Why have the last 6 months felt like you're living underwater? Why does every conversation feel like you're speaking through glass, present but separated? Why, beloved, does your own reflection in the mirror look back at you like a stranger who's been carrying secrets you've forgotten? Something shifted in the invisible realm, and your spirit felt it before your mind could name it. Let me tell you what's really happening. This isn't another sermon you accidentally clicked on while scrolling through videos of grandchildren and recipe tutorials. This is a divine interruption. And God interrupts only when something is too critical, too urgent, too time-sensitive to wait another second. Think about the last time a doctor called you back into the office. Not next week, not next month, but today. That phone call that came at 9 p.m. when phone calls never come. That knock on your door during a thunderstorm when nobody should be outside. Your whole body went on alert, didn't it? Because interruptions of that magnitude mean one thing. What's happening cannot wait. Heaven just knocked on your door at 3 a.m., and you heard it. For weeks now, maybe months, you've been feeling things you couldn't explain to anyone. A heaviness that settles on your chest the moment you open your eyes. The sensation of being watched over, even when you're completely alone in your apartment. Days that feel spiritually off, like the air itself is charged with something you can't see but absolutely sense. You've been waking up at the exact same time, night after night, staring at the ceiling, feeling like something is trying to break through. You thought it was anxiety. You thought it was your medication. You thought it was just getting older. But chosen one, listen to me carefully. These weren't symptoms of decline. They were signals from the divine. Every unexplained heaviness was heaven's hand resting on your shoulder. Every sleepless night was God waiting for the noise of the day to fade so he could finally speak. Every moment you felt off was actually you being spiritually on-tuned to a frequency this world can't broadcast. Your spirit has been receiving transmissions your mind hasn't decoded yet. Until now. The Bible tells us in Psalm 3:4, my team, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit, not distant, not detached. Close, so close that his breath becomes the rhythm of yours. So near that his heartbeat syncs with the pulse in your wrist. When you felt that unexplained heaviness, that was proximity. That was God drawing so close to you that the weight of his glory became physical. And Romans T-team promises us, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us, not to us. In us, the glory isn't coming from outside like some distant reward. It's erupting from inside, breaking through the cracks in your heart like light through fractured glass. Every sleepless night was him installing something. Every heavy morning was him downloading purpose. Every isolated moment was him clearing the frequency so you could hear without interference. But here's what breaks my heart. Here's what makes me want to reach through this screen and grab your hand. While God was moving heaven and earth to interrupt your ordinary life with extraordinary revelation, the enemy was whispering one word on repeat. Nothing. Nothing's happening. Nothing's changing. Nothing matters anymore. That's the lie, beloved. The divine interruption has already occurred. You're living in it right now. God didn't pause your life. He paused time itself to reach you. He stopped the cosmic clock, silenced the angelic core, and said one word, your name. If this is resonating in the deepest chamber of your heart, if something inside you just said, yes, that's me, I want you to do something right now. Not later, not after you finish the video. Right now. Say it softly, say it out loud, whisper it if you must, but say it, Lord, I'm here. Let heaven record your response. Let the angels write it down. Let God himself bear witness that you showed up, you answered, you said yes to the interruption. Because what I'm about to reveal to you next will shatter every assumption you've made about why these last few years have been so brutal. You see, there's been a hidden pattern weaving through every disappointment, every closed door, every unanswered prayer. A pattern so precise, so deliberate, so mathematically impossible to be coincidence that when you finally see it, you'll fall to your knees. Not in despair, in awe. In just a moment, I'm going to show you the unmistakable sign God has been giving you. The one you kept overlooking because you were looking for thunder when he was speaking in tremors. The one that's been hiding in plain sight, written across your last 12 months like divine graffiti on the walls of your life. But before I reveal it, you need to understand something that will change how you see everything that's happened to you. The interruption wasn't just to get your attention. It was to save your life. You know what breaks my heart? It's realizing that for the past 18 months, maybe longer, God has been trying to get your attention, and you thought you were losing your mind. Those nights when you jolted awake at 3-4 a.m., heart racing, drenched in sweat, staring at the ceiling wondering what's wrong with you. That wasn't insomnia, beloved. That was heaven knocking. Revelation 5:20 says, Behold, I stand at the door and knock. But sometimes God doesn't knock on your front door. He knocks on the door of your spirit while your body is supposed to be resting. You told yourself it was stress. Maybe your blood pressure medication. Maybe too much coffee. But deep down, you knew something else was happening. Something you couldn't name. Something that made you feel like you were being pulled toward. What you didn't know, and that scared you, was that you were being pulled toward. What you didn't know, and that scared you, was that you were being pulled toward. What you didn't know, and that scared you, was that you were being pulled toward. What you didn't know, and that scared you, was that you were being pulled toward. What you didn't know, and that scared you, was that you were being pulled toward. What you didn't know, and that scared you, was that you were being pulled toward. What you didn't know, and that scared you, was that you were being pulled toward. What you didn't know, and that scared you, was that you were being pulled toward. What you didn't know, and that scared you, was that you were being pulled toward. What you didn't know, and that scared you, was that you were being pulled toward. What you didn't know, and that scared you, was that you were being pulled toward. What you didn't know, and that scared you, was that you were being pulled toward. What you didn't know, and that Let me ask you something that's going to sting. What if those weren't random disturbances? What if those were divine appointments you kept missing? Here's the first sign you've been ignoring. That sudden, inexplicable restlessness that floods your chest at night. You're exhausted, bone-tired from the day, but the moment your head hits that pillow, something inside you won't settle. It's like your soul is pacing while your body is lying still. You've had every test. The doctors found nothing. Your heart is fine. Your lungs are clear. But something keeps waking you up. That's not anxiety, chosen one. That's urgency from another realm trying to break through. The second sign, and this one's been haunting you, hasn't it? Old memories resurfacing. Not the good ones you want to remember. Not the birthday parties or the vacations. No, it's the hard ones. That conversation with your mother before she passed. That decision you made in 1980 that changed everything. That person you wronged who you never made it right with. These memories aren't tormenting you randomly. Psalm 118:20 says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart." He's not punishing you with these memories. He's preparing you to release them. Because what's coming next in your life cannot be carried with what you've been holding from your past. Third sign, and you felt this one cutting deeper than the rest. You're surrounded by people, family gatherings, church on Sunday, even the grocery store, but you feel utterly alone, disconnected, like you're watching everyone through glass. Your grandchildren are on their phones. Your children are distracted. Your friends from church talk about things that feel hollow surface, empty. You thought something was wrong with you. Why can't I just enjoy this like I used to? But beloved, what if nothing is wrong with you? What if you're being separated on purpose? 1 Peter 2:10 calls you a peculiar people. The King James uses that word deliberately. Peculiar, set apart, different. You're not losing connection with people. You're gaining connection with purpose. Fourth sign, and this one's going to make you uncomfortable. There's a strange, heavy feeling when you talk to certain family members. Not anger, not resentment, just weight, like their words carry something dark you can't quite see. You leave those conversations feeling drained, depleted, like someone reached into your chest and pulled out your energy. That's discernment waking up, chosen one. Your spirit is detecting what your eyes cannot see. You're sensing the spiritual atmosphere around people, and not everyone in your bloodline is walking in the light they claim to carry. Fifth sign, the financial strain that makes absolutely no sense. You've been responsible your whole life, saved, budgeted, sacrificed, but lately money slips through your fingers like water. Unexpected bills, car repairs, medical expenses that insurance won't cover, and you're sitting there thinking, God, I've tithed faithfully for 60 years. Where are you? But what if, stay with me, what if that strain was strategic? What if God allowed your resources to tighten so you'd stop trusting your bank account and start trusting His provision? Job 20:10 says, "But He knows the way that I take. When He has tested me, I will come forth as gold." Financial pressure isn't always punishment. Sometimes it's refinement. Sixth sign, tears from nowhere. You're watching a commercial about a puppy finding a home, and you're weeping. You're sitting in church during worship, and you can't stop crying. You're looking at old photographs, and something inside you breaks open. You told yourself you're just getting emotional in your old age. But that's not age, beloved. That's your spirit cracking open the shell your pain built around it. God is making you tender again, because what He's about to give you requires a soft heart, not a hard one. Seventh sign, and this is the one that terrified you most, the sense of being pulled away from old routines. Things you've done for decades suddenly feel wrong. That committee you've served on for 20 years, your spirit recoils when the meeting reminder pops up. That friend group you've known since the 70s, Their conversations feel poisonous now. Sunday service at the church you helped build, it feels like going through motions. You thought you were backsliding. You thought the devil was making you rebellious. But what if God is the one pulling you away? What if he's saying, what got you here won't get you there? Think about it like this. You know that old radio your father had in the basement? The one with the dial you had to turn so carefully to find the station. Too far left static. Too far right static. But right in that narrow space, the music came through crystal clear. Your spirit has been picking up heaven's frequency before your mind knew how to understand it. All these signs, the restlessness, the memories, the disconnection, the heaviness, the financial strain, the unexpected tears. The pulling away, they weren't warnings. They were tuning. God has been adjusting your frequency, calibrating your spirit, preparing your soul to receive something you couldn't have handled with yesterday's anointing. If any of these 7 signs hit your heart like a hammer just now, don't hide it. Don't spiritualize it away. Type, "That was me," in the comments. Let heaven see that you recognize what's been happening. Because here's what's about to shatter everything you thought you understood about your season. These signs weren't random. They weren't coincidental. They weren't even warnings. They were preparation. And what God has been preparing you for is about to be revealed. Chosen one, I need to tell you something that's going to shake you to your core. Something the enemy prayed you'd never discover. Every closed door, every unanswered prayer. Every night you cried yourself to sleep wondering if God had abandoned you. That wasn't silence, beloved. That was warfare. And you were winning without even knowing you were in the fight. Listen to me carefully. Hell only fights what heaven anoints. The devil doesn't waste ammunition on empty threats. He doesn't deploy his fiercest demons against people who pose no danger to his kingdom. But you've had a target on your back since the day you were born. Why do you think your life has been harder than everyone else's? Why have you faced battles that have broken weaker souls? Why does it seem like every time you take 2 steps forward, something knocks you 3 steps back? Because the enemy saw what God placed inside you before you even knew it existed. Think about Job for a moment. The Bible says in Job 1:10, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him." God himself pointed Job out to Satan. And what happened next? Everything was stripped away. His wealth, his children, his health, his wife's support. The enemy unleashed hell on earth against one man. But here's what Satan didn't understand. Every attack was actually building something inside Job that comfort never could. Every loss was forging unshakable faith. Every night of agony was creating a testimony that would echo through eternity. Job 2:10 records his declaration, "But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold." That's you, chosen one. You've been in the refiner's fire, and what the enemy meant to destroy you with, God has been using to purify you. But let me tell you what's really been happening in the spiritual realm while you thought you were losing. Picture this: a courtroom in heaven. Angels on one side, demons on the other. And you're the case being argued. The accuser stands up and points at every mistake you've made, every sin you've committed, every time you've failed. He's screaming for permission to destroy you. He's demanding that God remove his hand of protection. But then Jesus stands, the advocate, the one who paid your debt, and he says, "This one is mine, bought with my blood, sealed by my sacrifice. You cannot touch them." Revelation 10:10 calls Satan the accuser of our brethren. He's been accusing you day and night, beloved. But every accusation has been overruled by the blood of the Lamb. That door that slammed in your face 10 years ago, heaven closed it because what was behind it would destroy your destiny. That relationship that ended and broke your heart, God severed it because that person would pulled you away from your calling. That financial collapse that left you devastated, The Almighty allowed it because you were building your security on sand instead of the rock. You weren't being rejected, you were being shielded. Every delay was divine protection. Every no was God saying, "Not that I have something better." Every detour was heaven rerouting you away from destruction you couldn't see coming. Isaiah 54:7 thunders with this promise: "No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you." This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord. No weapon, not some weapons, not most weapons, no weapon formed against you will prosper. But beloved, here's what breaks my heart. The enemy has been whispering lies in your ear for so long that you started believing them. He's convinced you that your struggles mean God doesn't love you, that your battles prove you're cursed, that your pain is evidence of his absence. But what if I told you the exact opposite is true? What if your warfare is actually proof of your worth? What if the intensity of the attack reveals the magnitude of your assignment? What if everything hell has thrown at you is evidence that you're carrying something the kingdom of darkness desperately wants to stop? You've survived what should have killed you. You've endured what should have broken you. You're still standing when everyone expected you to fall. That's not luck, that's not coincidence. That's the hand of God holding you up when your own strength ran out. Right now, at this very moment, I need you to do something. I need you to make a declaration that will shift the atmosphere over your life. Type send in the comments if you refuse to fail the test God has placed before you. Type SEM70 if you're done letting the enemy convince you that your struggle means you're losing. Type SEM70 if you finally understand that you weren't being destroyed, you were being deployed. Because chosen one, everything you've been through wasn't random. It wasn't meaningless suffering. Every battle, every tear, every moment you wanted to quit but didn't, it was all preparation. Preparation for what? That's exactly what I'm about to reveal to you next. The specific purpose behind your pain. The divine reason your suffering had to be so intense. The sacred assignment that required you to walk through fire without being consumed. What's coming in the next few minutes will finally make sense of everything you've endured. And when you hear it, every question mark in your story is about to become an exclamation point. Don't move, because the answer you've been crying out for is about to land. You want to know the truth, the real truth about why your life has been so hard. It wasn't random, beloved, and it wasn't punishment. Let me tell you something that's going to shake everything you thought you knew about suffering. When a master goldsmith works with raw gold, the kind pulled straight from the earth, covered in dirt and impurities, do you know what he does first? He doesn't polish it. He doesn't display it. He doesn't even touch it gently. He throws it into the fire. And not just any fire, a fire so hot it would melt steel, a fire heated to 114 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the temperature where gold begins to liquefy, where everything that isn't pure gold rises to the surface and can be skimmed away. The goldsmith doesn't leave the room. He sits right there, watching, waiting. His eyes never leave that crucible because he knows 1 degree too hot, 1 moment too long, and the gold is ruined. Malachi 3:3 says it plainly. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. He will purify the Levites and refine them like gold and silver. Did you catch that? He sits. He doesn't walk away. He doesn't forget. He doesn't get distracted checking his phone or running errands. He sits, watching every second, because what he's creating is too precious to leave unattended. That's you in the fire right now. That divorce that shattered your world 23 years ago, that was the fire heating up. That financial collapse in 2017 when you lost everything you'd worked for. The temperature just increased. That phone call from the doctor with words like stage 3 or chronic or progressive. The goldsmith leaned in closer, watching the impurities rise. Your children moving across the country and forgetting to call. The loneliness that sits beside you every morning at breakfast. The friends who slowly disappeared when you needed them most. Those weren't accidents. Those were the dross, the impurities being drawn to the surface so they could be removed. But here's what breaks my heart. Here's what makes me want to reach through this screen and hold your weathered hands. You've been sitting in that fire thinking God abandoned you there. You've been burning, hurting, crying out, "Lord, where are you? Why won't you rescue me?" While the entire time, every single second, He's been sitting right there, watching, waiting, protecting what He's purifying. You weren't being destroyed, chosen one. You were being refined. Think about Job. This man lost everything in a single day. His children, all 10 of them, killed in a storm. His wealth gone. His health ravaged with boils from head to foot. His wife told him to curse God and die. His friends accused him of hidden sin. For 37 chapters, Job sits in ashes, scraping his sores with broken pottery, asking the same question you've been asking. Why? But here's what Job didn't know while he was sitting in those ashes. Here's what he couldn't see from inside the fire. God was in a cosmic courtroom, pointing at Job and saying to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is none like him on the earth." Job Monty. None like him. Not because Job was perfect, but because Job could be trusted with the fire. Because when everything else burned away, family, fortune, health, friends, what remained was pure, unshakable faith. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Job 9:55. That's the gold, beloved. That's what the fire reveals. Every unanswered prayer wasn't God ignoring you. It was God increasing your capacity to trust Him in the silence. Every closed door wasn't rejection, it was redirection away from what would have contaminated your calling. Every person who walked away wasn't abandonment, it was purification, removing relationships that would have pulled you away from your purpose. The fire wasn't killing you. It was revealing who you really are underneath all the pain. But I need you to understand something that's going to cut deep. The goldsmith knows the gold is pure when he can see his own reflection in it. When the liquid gold becomes so clear, so refined, that he can look down into that crucible and see his face staring back. God has been sitting at your fire, watching, waiting, refining, until He can see His own image reflected in you. That's why you've survived what should have killed you. That's why you're still here when others fell away. That's why your faith, battered, bruised, barely breathing, is still intact. Because you are not breaking, chosen one. You are becoming. Every scar on your heart is evidence that the dross was removed. Every tear you've cried is proof that impurities were drawn out. Every night you didn't sleep, every morning you didn't want to wake up, every moment you chose to keep breathing when quitting seemed easier, that was the fire doing its work. And now the goldsmith is about to stand up. Now the refining is almost complete. Now you're about to discover what God has been creating in you while you thought you were just surviving. Your pain wasn't pointless. Your suffering wasn't senseless. Your years in the fire weren't wasted. They were purposeful. Every single degree, every single second. Stop right now. Put your hand on your chest. Feel that heartbeat. That's not just blood pumping. That's the rhythm of refined gold. That's the sound of something precious that survived the fire and came out pure. You are not damaged goods, beloved. You are refined treasure. And what God is about to do with refined gold will leave the whole world speechless. But first, you need to understand something about timing that's going to change everything you thought you knew about your waiting. Listen to me, chosen one. Something shifted in the heavenly realm 72 hours ago. The angels who have been standing guard over your life. The ones you've never seen but have always felt, they received new orders. Not suggestions. Not recommendations, orders. and those orders had your name written across them in letters of fire. For years you've been asking God, when will my breakthrough come? When will this pain end? When will I finally see the fruit of all these tears I've planted? And heaven has been silent, not because God didn't care, but because the timing wasn't ready. The pieces weren't in position. You weren't in position. But that season just ended. Ecclesiastes 31 says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." You've been living in the season of preparation, the season of testing, the season where God was building something in you that comfort could never forge. But right now, at this exact moment, you are crossing a threshold that has been sealed since before you were born. Your season of delay has officially ended. I need you to feel the weight of what I just said. This isn't motivation. This isn't me trying to make you feel better for the next 20 minutes. This is a prophetic declaration over your life that hell itself cannot reverse. Do you know why your prayers felt like they were bouncing off the ceiling? Do you know why every door you approached seemed to slam shut just as your hand touched the handle? Because God was protecting you from receiving His best gifts at your worst moment of readiness. He was holding back the flood because the foundation of your character wasn't strong enough to handle the weight of what He wanted to pour out. But beloved, you've been refined now. The fire didn't destroy you, it purified you. Every sleepless night was building capacity. Every betrayal was teaching you discernment. Every financial pressure was training you to trust an invisible God in a visible crisis. And now the vault of heaven is opening. Think about Joseph. For 13 years, he sat in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Every morning he woke up, looked at those stone walls, and had to choose between bitterness and faith. Do you think he understood why God allowed that? Do you think he knew that Pharaoh was about to have a dream that only Joseph could interpret? No, he had no idea. All he knew was that God had spoken a promise to him as a boy, and that promise seemed to have died in a pit, been buried in slavery, and rotted in a dungeon. But Genesis 4:1-4 records the moment everything changed. Then Pharaoh sent and called Joseph, and they brought him quickly out of the dungeon. Quickly. After 13 years of waiting, his elevation happened in a single afternoon. That's what's happening to you right now. Your suddenly is here. But I need to tell you something that's going to shake you. While you've been walking through your wilderness, while you've been sitting in your prison, while you've been wandering through your valley, you haven't been alone. Hebrews 1:4 asks, "Are they not all ministering spirits, sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation?" Angels, real angels, not the chubby babies on greeting cards, warriors. And they've been assigned to you. They've been recording every act of obedience. Every time you chose to worship when you wanted to curse. Every time you gave when you had nothing. Every time you forgave when you had every right to hold a grudge. Heaven has been keeping a record, and that record is about to be presented before the throne of God as evidence that you are ready for what He's held back. Right now, in this very moment, there is an angel standing in your living room. You can't see him with your natural eyes, but your spirit knows. He's been there through every tear, every prayer, every moment you almost gave up but didn't. And He's watching to see what you do with what you're hearing right now. Because this isn't just information, beloved. This is activation. You are not just chosen, you are ready. For decades, you've been told you're a child of God. And that's true. But what they didn't tell you is that children grow up. Children mature. Children become heirs. And heirs don't just receive blessings, they carry authority. Romans 10:10 declares, "And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ." Do you understand what that means? Everything that belongs to Jesus, every promise, every provision, every power, it belongs to you too. Not someday. Not in heaven now. But here's what most believers miss. Authority isn't given to the comfortable. Authority is entrusted to the tested. God doesn't hand the keys of the kingdom to people who've never had to fight for their faith. He gives them to the warriors who've stood on the battlefield when retreat was easier, who've declared victory when defeat looked certain, who've praised his name when their hearts were breaking. That's you. You've been in boot camp, and graduation day just arrived. So let me ask you something that will determine everything about your next chapter. Are you going to keep living like a beggar when heaven just promoted you to royalty? Are you going to keep speaking poverty when God just opened the vault? Are you going to keep walking in yesterday's identity when today's mandate is waiting? The message heaven cannot delay any longer is this: stop waiting for permission to step into what God already prepared. The door isn't locked. It never was. You've just been standing on the wrong side, afraid to turn the handle. But the angels are watching. The cloud of witnesses is leaning forward, and God himself is saying, now, not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready now. What you do in the next 60 seconds will echo into eternity. Listen to me, chosen one. We've walked through the fire together. You've seen the truth about your calling. You've felt the weight of your divine assignment. You've recognized why the enemy has fought you so hard for so long. But now comes the most critical moment of your entire life. What you do in the next 72 hours will determine whether this awakening becomes your transformation or just another emotional moment that fades by Thursday. I'm going to give you 3 sacred steps, not suggestions, not recommendations, commands from the throne room of heaven. And I need you to understand something that might shake you. Knowing the truth without acting on it is worse than never hearing it at all. James 1:2 warns us, be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. You can deceive yourself into thinking that watching this video was enough. It's not. Step 1, stillness. Right now, this very moment, I need you to do something that terrifies most people. I need you to stop. Just stop. Stop the endless activity. Stop the compulsive busyness. Stop filling every silence with noise because you're afraid of what you might hear in the quiet. Psalm 4:6-10 says, be still and know that I am God. But here's what most people miss: that word, still, in Hebrew is rapha. It doesn't just mean quiet. It means to let go, to release, to stop striving. It's a command to cease your endless struggle to make things happen in your own strength. You've been running for decades, haven't you? Running from pain, running toward validation, running in circles trying to prove your worth. And where has it gotten you? Exhausted, depleted. Wondering why God feels so distant when you're working so hard for him. Here's the shocking truth: God isn't distant. You're just moving too fast to hear him. I'm talking to the grandmother who fills every hour with activities because silence means facing the loneliness. I'm talking to the grandfather who stays busy with projects because stillness means confronting the emptiness. You think busyness is faithfulness, but sometimes busyness is just fear wearing a religious mask. Jesus himself withdrew to lonely places to pray. Luke 5:see. If the Son of God needed stillness to hear the Father, what makes you think you can skip it? So here's your first assignment, and it's non-negotiable. For the next 7 days, I want you to sit in complete silence for 35 minutes every morning. No music, no TV, no phone, just you and God. At first it will feel unbearable. Your mind will race, your body will itch to move, but push through. Because in that stillness, God will begin to show you things you've been too distracted to see. Step 2, release. Now we go deeper. Because stillness alone isn't enough if you're still gripping the very things that are draining your life force. What are you holding on to that God is asking you to let go of? And before you say, nothing, let me cut through the religious pretense. That bitterness toward your daughter who hasn't called in 3 months. That resentment toward the church that overlooked you. That anger at God for not answering the prayer you've been praying since 1970. That's what I'm talking about. Matthew 1:20 records Jesus saying, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." But here's the part that will wreck you. He can't give you rest until you're willing to put down what you're carrying. Think about this. A drowning person will grab onto anything, even the rescuer trying to save them. And sometimes the rescuer has to let them tire out before they can pull them to safety. Because as long as they're fighting, thrashing, gripping, they'll drown both themselves and anyone trying to help. You're gripping things that are drowning you. Old wounds, ancient grudges, expired relationships, dead dreams, and God is saying, "Let go. I've got something better," but your hands are too full to receive it. Here's your second assignment. Get a piece of paper. Write down every single thing that's draining your emotional energy. That person you can't forgive, that loss you can't accept, that dream you can't release, that control you can't surrender. Write it all down. Then take that paper and burn it. Actually burn it. Watch it turn to ash. And as it burns, you pray this prayer out loud. God, I release what I cannot carry. I surrender what I cannot control. I let go of what's already gone. This isn't symbolic, beloved. This is warfare. Because the enemy wants you carrying baggage into your new season that will weigh you down before you even start. Step 3, align. Now we come to the most practical step of all. And this is where most people sabotage their own breakthrough. From this moment forward, you move only where there is peace. Not where there's opportunity. Not where there's pressure. Not where there's expectation. Where there's peace. Colossians 3:5 says, "Let the peace of God rule in your hearts." That word rule means to act as an umpire, to make the final call. Your decisions from now on aren't based on logic, not based on other people's opinions, not even based on what seems like the right thing to do. They're based on one question: do I have God's peace about this? That invitation that makes you anxious, that's your answer. That relationship that constantly drains you, that's your answer. That commitment that feels like obligation instead of joy, that's your answer. You spent 20 years trying to please everyone else. What if the last season of your life was about finally aligning with God's peace instead of the world's expectations? Here's your third assignment. For the next 30 days, before you say yes to anything, any request, any invitation, any obligation, you pause and ask yourself, do I have God's peace about this? If the answer is no, your response is no. No explanation, no apology, no justification. Just no. Watch what happens when you start moving only where peace leads you. Now, if you're ready to step into this new season, if you're done watching your life from the sidelines, if you're finally ready to become who God has been preparing you to be, I need you to make a public declaration right now. Type in the comments, "I will not miss this moment." Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Right now. Because your declaration activates your destiny, and heaven is waiting to see who will respond. Listen to me very carefully, chosen one. Something happened the moment you clicked on this video. Something you couldn't see, but you felt it. That sudden heaviness, that strange reluctance, that voice whispering, maybe later. Maybe this isn't for you. That wasn't coincidence. That was interference. There were forces, dark, calculated forces, that desperately hoped you wouldn't make it to this moment. They threw everything at you today. The phone rang at the exact wrong time, didn't it? That sudden wave of exhaustion that made you want to close your eyes. The argument that came out of nowhere. The bill that arrived in the mail, stealing your peace. The pain in your knee that flared up just as you sat down. The television blaring in the next room, pulling your attention away. You thought those were random interruptions. They weren't random. They were strategic. The enemy has been monitoring you, beloved. Not because you're insignificant, because you're dangerous. He saw what was about to be unlocked in your spirit the moment this message reached your ears. And he panicked, because once you hear what heaven is about to reveal, there's no going back to the small, silent, defeated version of yourself you've been tolerating. Ephesians 6:2 tells us plainly, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world." This isn't theory, dear one. This is your Tuesday afternoon. This is the reason your mind went foggy 3 minutes ago. This is why doubt tried to creep in and whisper, "This message isn't really for me." But you're still here. You push through the static. You silence the noise. You're still listening. And that, beloved, is proof that heaven placed a shield around your mind. Picture this. Before you even woke up this morning, angels were dispatched. Not to remove the obstacles, but to strengthen your resolve to push through them. They didn't stop the phone from ringing. They strengthened your discernment to ignore it. They didn't remove the fatigue. They whispered to your spirit, "Stay awake. This matters." Isaiah 54:10 declares, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." But notice it doesn't say no weapon will be formed. It says it won't prosper. The attacks came. The distractions hit. The enemy threw his best interference. But you're still here, still breathing, still receiving. That's not luck. That's divine protection in real time. Now here's where it gets shocking. Here's the twist that's going to wreck every excuse you've been making. The delay wasn't the enemy winning. The delay was heaven's setup. Every time you almost watched this video but didn't, that wasn't you missing your moment. That was God saying, "Not yet. They're not ready yet." Every distraction, every interruption, every reason you put this off, heaven was using all of it to prepare your heart for what you're about to receive. Because what I'm about to tell you would have destroyed you 6 months ago. Your spirit couldn't have handled it. Your faith wasn't strong enough to contain it. Your circumstances hadn't yet positioned you to act on it. But now you've been through enough hell to appreciate heaven's intervention. Now you've cried enough tears to recognize when God is wiping them away. Now you've walked through enough darkness to know the sound of his voice cutting through it. The enemy tried to delay you. Heaven used the delay to prepare you. Do you feel that shift happening in your chest right now? That's not emotion, beloved. That's recognition. Your spirit recognizing that this moment, this exact second, is the appointed time. The Kairos moment. The fullness of time colliding with your desperate need. If you feel your spirit opening right now, if something inside you that's been locked for years is starting to crack, don't stay silent. Type "I'm awake now" in the comments. Let heaven see your response. Let the enemy know he failed to stop you. Because here's what he doesn't want you to know. You surviving every attack, pushing through every distraction, making it to this moment despite everything thrown at you, that's not just resilience. That's prophecy being fulfilled. You were marked to hear this message. The enemy saw the marking. He tried to intercept it. He failed. And now the real unveiling begins. What I'm about to reveal next will shift how you see the rest of your life. Not just the years ahead, but the years behind you. Every closed door, every unanswered prayer, every season you thought God forgot about you. It's all about to make sense in a way that will drop you to your knees. You thought you were just surviving, but God was positioning you. You thought you were being forgotten, but God was keeping you hidden. You thought your time had passed, but your time was being protected until this exact moment when you'd be ready to steward what he's about to release. The message the enemy tried to block is about to become the message that breaks every chain he's wrapped around your destiny. And there's nothing, absolutely nothing, he can do to stop what happens next. Because you're still here, you're still listening, and heaven is about to speak. Listen to me very carefully, chosen one. because what I'm about to tell you isn't speculation. This isn't motivational fluff designed to make you feel better for an hour. This is prophetic declaration over the next 7 days of your life. And when this week is over, you will look back at this exact moment and know, beyond any shadow of doubt, that something shifted. The next 7 days will not be ordinary. You're going to feel something you haven't felt in years, a strange clarity, like fog lifting off a lake at dawn. You know that feeling when you've been wearing glasses with the wrong prescription for so long that you forgot what sharp vision looked like. That's about to change. Your spiritual sight is about to snap into focus with such precision that it will take your breath away. But here's what you need to understand: this isn't going to happen all at once. God doesn't work like a light switch. He works like a sunrise. Slow, deliberate, undeniable. Day 1, a heaviness lifts. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, something will be different. That weight you've been carrying on your chest, the one that makes it hard to take a full breath, the one that's been sitting there so long you thought it was permanent, it's going to lighten. Not disappear completely, but lighten enough that you'll notice. You'll take a breath deeper than you've taken in months, maybe years, and you'll think to yourself, what just happened? What happened is this: heaven just removed the first stone from the tomb you've been living in. Lazarus didn't walk out all at once, beloved. First, someone had to roll away the stone. That's day 1. Day 2, an unexpected sign. On the second day, you're going to see something that stops you cold. It might be a cardinal landing on your windowsill at the exact moment you're thinking about someone you lost. It might be a stranger saying the exact words you needed to hear. It might be a song on the radio that you haven't heard in 30 years, playing at the precise second you asked God for confirmation. You're going to want to dismiss it as coincidence. Don't you dare. Proverbs 10:6-3 says, "The lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord." Nothing, and I mean nothing, is random in the kingdom of God. When you see that sign, say out loud, "I receive this. I'm paying attention." Because heaven is checking to see if you're awake yet. Day 3, a forgotten memory returns with new meaning. Wednesday is when it gets mystical. A memory you haven't thought about in decades is going to surface, not in pieces, but in vivid, cinematic detail. Maybe it's something your grandmother said to you when you were 7 years old. Maybe it's a moment from your first marriage before everything fell apart. Maybe it's a dream you had 40 years ago that you buried under responsibilities and disappointments. But this time, when that memory surfaces, you're going to see it differently. You're going to understand what you couldn't understand then. God's been keeping that memory preserved like a time capsule, waiting for this exact week when you'd finally have the wisdom to decode it. That memory isn't nostalgia, dear one. It's prophecy. It's God showing you that He's been speaking to you your whole life, and you're only now learning His language. Day 4, peace arrives suddenly. Thursday will shock you. You're going to be doing something completely mundane, washing dishes, folding laundry, sitting in the doctor's waiting room, and peace is going to hit you like a wave. Not the kind of peace you manufacture through positive thinking. The peace that Philippians 4:7 talks about. The peace that surpasses all understanding. The kind that makes absolutely no logical sense given your circumstances. Your bank account won't have changed. Your health situation will be the same. Your family dynamics won't have magically resolved. But inside your chest, where Chow's has been your constant companion, there will be stillness. And in that stillness, you'll hear it, the voice you've been straining to hear for years. Be still and know that I am God. Day 5, a silent confirmation. Friday is the day of knowing without being told. You're going to make a decision, maybe about a relationship, maybe about your health, maybe about something you've been avoiding for months, and you're not going to agonize over it. You're just going to know. The answer will be so clear, so obvious, that you'll wonder why it took you so long to see it. This is what happens when the Holy Spirit starts guiding from the inside instead of you trying to figure everything out from the outside. John 6:6 promises, when the Spirit of truth comes, he will guide you into all truth. Day 5 is when that guidance stops being theoretical and becomes experiential. Day 6, a new desire awakens. On Saturday, something dormant in you is going to wake up. A desire you thought died 20 years ago is going to stretch, yawn, and open its eyes. Maybe it's the desire to create again. Maybe it's the desire to love again. Maybe it's the desire to believe that your life still has purpose beyond just surviving until heaven. This isn't nostalgia for who you used to be. This is recognition of who you still are underneath all the disappointment. God's about to remind you that your calling doesn't have an expiration date. Day 7, the shift becomes visible. Sunday, the Lord's Day, is when people will start to notice. You won't have to say a word. Something in your eyes will be different. Something in the way you carry yourself will have changed. Your daughter will call and say, "Mom, you sound different. Are you okay?" Your neighbor will look at you and ask, "Did something happen to you?" And you'll smile because you'll finally understand. The shift that's been happening all week in the invisible realm just became visible in the natural one. You will not walk these 7 days alone, beloved. Heaven goes with you. Every single step. Type in the comments right now, "I'm ready for the Sunday shift." Let the angels know. Let heaven know. Let yourself know. Because what starts tomorrow will rewrite everything you thought was finished. Listen to me, chosen one. For decades, maybe your entire life, you've been asking the wrong question. You've been asking, "God, why am I still here?" when heaven has been waiting for you to ask, "God, what am I still here for?" There's a reason your heart is still beating. There's a reason you survived that heart attack at 62. There's a reason you woke up this morning when 3 of your childhood friends didn't make it past last winter. You think it's just luck. You think it's just good genes or decent health care. No, beloved, you were spared for something. But here's what breaks my heart. Here's what makes the angels weep. You've spent so many years believing the lie that your purpose died when you retired, that your influence ended when your children moved away, that your voice stopped mattering when the world decided you were too old to understand their new ways. That is a demonic lie from the pit of hell itself. You weren't just chosen to survive the storms of your life. You were chosen to guide others through theirs. Every tear you cried in secret, every sleepless night you endured, every moment you wanted to give up but didn't, that wasn't just your personal struggle. That was your training, your certification, your divine education in the school of endurance. Think about Moses, 80 years old when God called him from that burning bush. 80. The world would put him in a nursing home, given him a gold watch, told him his productive years were over. But God said, "Now you're ready. Now you've lived long enough, suffered long enough, learned enough to lead an entire nation out of bondage. Your age isn't your disqualification. It's your diploma. But I need you to see something that will transform how you understand your entire existence. You're not the boat in the storm anymore. You're the lighthouse. You're not the one being rescued. You're the one showing others where the rocks are hidden, where the safe harbor lies, how to navigate through darkness using nothing but faith. Every ship that's ever made it home didn't do it alone. Somewhere on a cliff, in the blackest part of the night, there was a lighthouse keeper. Old, weathered, scarred by years of standing firm while storms raged. Nobody celebrated them. Nobody knew their names. But without them, thousands would have crashed on the rocks. That's you, beloved. That's who you've become. Your grandchildren are watching you. Not just your biological grandchildren, but spiritual ones you'll never meet in this lifetime. Right now, there's a young woman in Ohio drowning in depression, and she needs to see someone who survived 60 years of hard living and still believes God is good. There's a man in Texas who just lost everything, and he needs to hear from someone who's been bankrupt twice and still trusts heaven's provision. They don't need another 25-year-old telling them it gets better. They need you, with your liver spots and your reading glasses and your medicine cabinet full of prescriptions, standing tall and declaring, "I walked through hell, and God was faithful every single step." Do you understand what I'm telling you? Your silent endurance has been shaping generations. Every time you chose forgiveness over bitterness, you changed your family tree. Every time you got on your knees and prayed when your body was screaming in pain, you shifted the spiritual atmosphere over your bloodline. Every time you showed up to church when you had every excuse to stay home, you became a living sermon. Hebrews 10:1 says you're surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses. Your ancestors who prayed for breakthrough, they're watching. They're cheering because you're the answer they died believing would come. You're the lighthouse they never got to be. But here's the urgency that should grip your soul right now. Time is short. Not in the way the world thinks, not because you're getting older. Because the world is getting darker. The chaos is rising. The confusion is spreading. And God needs his lighthouses lit now. You think you're tired. You think you've done enough. Caleb was 85 when he said, "Give me this mountain." He didn't ask for rest. He asked for the biggest battle left to fight. The question burning in heaven right now is this: will you accept the role you were born to carry? Will you stop shrinking back? Stop apologizing for taking up space. Stop believing the lie that your season is over. Because, beloved, your season isn't ending. It's culminating. Everything you've survived, everything you've learned, everything you've become, it was all preparation for this final, magnificent chapter where you don't just live your faith. You light the way for others. If you feel the weight of this truth settling on your shoulders, if something ancient and eternal is stirring in your chest, write these 4 words in the comments right now: I accept my role. Heaven is watching. The cloud of witnesses is waiting. And the world desperately needs you to stop hiding your light and let it blaze. But what happens when you finally say yes to this calling? What shifts in the invisible realm when a chosen lighthouse finally ignites? Dear one, I need you to stop everything right now and listen to what I'm about to tell you. Because what's happening in your life isn't coincidence. It's a pattern, a cycle. And tonight, this very night, that cycle meets its end. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? That thing that keeps coming back, year after year, decade after decade, like clockwork. Maybe it's that depression that descends every winter, settling on your shoulders like a wet blanket you can't shake off. Maybe it's the panic that grips your chest at 2 a.m. when you think about your bank account, wondering if you'll outlive your savings. Maybe it's that phone call you keep waiting for, the one from your daughter that never comes. Maybe it's standing in front of your medicine cabinet every morning, counting pills, wondering when your body became a stranger to you. Or maybe it's something deeper, something you've never spoken out loud, that feeling of being forgotten, not just by your children, not just by your friends, but forgotten by the God you've served faithfully for 70, 80, 90 years. The cycle has a name, beloved. It's called generational bondage, and it didn't start with you. Think about your father. Did he carry the same weight? That same financial anxiety that kept him up at night? Your mother, did she have that same sadness in her eyes that you see in yours? Your grandfather, did he feel like a ghost in his own family, invisible, irrelevant, waiting to die? This isn't bad luck. This isn't aging. This is a spiritual loop that's been running in your bloodline like a computer virus, and you've been living inside its code your entire life. But Exodus 25 warns us about this. God said, "I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the 3rd and 4th generations." 3rd and 4th generations, count it. Your great-grandfather's unresolved pain is sitting in your living room right now. The enemy has been running the same playbook on your family for 100 years. Same fear, same lack, same loneliness. Different bodies, same bondage. But here's what hell doesn't want you to know. Cycles have expiration dates, and yours just came due. God is resetting your life to factory settings. The original version He intended before the enemy corrupted your family's code. Before your ancestors made agreements with fear and passed them down like heirlooms. Before poverty became your inheritance and sadness became your surname. Isaiah 4:13 declares, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth, do you not perceive it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." New thing. Not recycled, not reheated. Not the same cycle with a fresh coat of paint. New. At this very moment, the sound in the spirit realm, can you hear it? It's the sound of chains snapping. Not bending, not loosening, snapping. Like old iron finally giving way under pressure it was never meant to hold. Your financial anxiety, the chain just broke. That depression you've carried since 1957, broken. That feeling of being forgotten by your own children, broken. The cycle of declining health that took your mother at Sing 2 and your grandmother at Sick Team, it stops at you. Because you're not just the end of the cycle, you're the circuit breaker. Think about the children of Israel. 400 years of slavery in Egypt. 400 years. Generations born in bondage, lived in bondage, died in bondage. They didn't even remember what freedom felt like. They thought slavery was their identity. But Exodus 94:1 says, "At the end of 430 years on that very day, all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt." On that very day. Not gradually. Not eventually, that day. 4 centuries of bondage ended in 24 hours because God said, "Tonight." The cycle ends tonight. That's your scripture, chosen one. That very day. This very night. The river of your life has been flowing in the same direction for so long, you thought it was permanent. You thought this was just how things are. How they've always been. How they'll always be. But when God speaks, rivers don't redirect gradually. They change course. The weight you've carried for years will not follow you into this next season. The shame your father carried, it's not yours anymore. The scarcity your mother feared, dead at your feet. The loneliness that haunted your grandmother, it has no claim on your tomorrow. The cycle ends tonight. Not because you're strong enough to break it, but because you're surrendered enough to let God shatter it. There's a difference. Strength tries to bend the bars. Surrender lets the Almighty rip the door off its hinges. If the cycle ends with you, if you're ready to be the last generation that carries this weight, type it right now. I break it. Don't think about it, don't analyze it, just declare it. Because what you're about to step into requires you to close the door on what's been chasing your family for decades. But here's what you need to understand about what happens after the cycle breaks. Listen to me very carefully, chosen one. What I'm about to expose will explain every confusing moment of the last 5 years. Every strange attack. Every unexplainable setback. Every time you felt like you were losing your mind. The enemy has been running a campaign against you. Not random, calculated. And it's been targeting the very things that make you dangerous to his kingdom. Think about this. When did the isolation really start? When did your phone stop ringing? When did your children suddenly get too busy to visit? When did that church you served faithfully for 30 years start making you feel invisible? It wasn't gradual, was it? It was almost coordinated. Because it was. 1 Peter 15 warns us, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil as a roaring lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour." But here's what most people miss. The lion doesn't roar while he's hunting. He roars after he's already positioned himself. The roar is designed to paralyze you before the attack. And beloved, you've been hearing that roar. You just didn't recognize it. That sudden wave of fatigue that hits you every time you try to pray, that's not age, that's warfare. That fog that rolls into your mind when you open your Bible, the one that makes you forget what you just read, that's not dementia, that's demonic interference. Those thoughts that whisper, "You're too old, you're too late, you've missed your chance," those aren't your thoughts. They're planted. The enemy saw what God placed inside you before you were born. He saw the prayers you'd pray that would shift atmospheres. He saw the wisdom you'd speak that would save generations. He saw the anointing you carry that terrifies hell itself. So he designed a trap specifically for seniors like you. A trap so subtle, so socially acceptable, that even the church wouldn't recognize it. Isolation, make them feel forgotten. Fatigue, drain their strength so they can't fight. Forgetfulness, scramble their minds so they doubt their own discernment. And the deadliest weapon of all, irrelevance, make them believe their time is over. But God held up a mirror, right now through these very words, and in that mirror you're finally seeing the truth, not the lies. You're not forgotten, you're strategically positioned. You're not irrelevant, you're dangerously anointed. You're not too old, you're finally ready. Psalm 1 becomes real in a way you've never experienced before. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His shield and buckler shall be thy truth. Do you know what that means in your life right now? It means that every attack launched against you has been intercepted. Every scheme designed to destroy you has been deflected. Right now, at this very moment, there are angels surrounding you. Not the greeting card kind, the warrior kind. The kind that shut the mouths of lions for Daniel. The kind that rolled away stones for Peter. The kind that stood between Moses and Pharaoh's army. They've been surrounding your house, your bedroom, your very chair where you sit. Every storm the enemy sent, financial collapse, health crisis, family betrayal, it froze 3 feet from your door. You never saw it because it never reached you. That's not luck, beloved. That's divine protection over someone heaven refuses to lose. But here's what's about to shift everything. Now that you see the trap, now that you recognize the attacks for what they really are, the enemy has lost his greatest advantage: deception. You can't be defeated by a weapon you can see coming. The warfare doesn't stop, but your awareness just became your armor. If you feel this truth settling into your bones right now, if something inside you just went from confusion to clarity, write these 3 words in the comments. I am protected, not as a hope, as a declaration, as a weapon. Because when you speak it, hell has to acknowledge it. But protection isn't enough. Now comes the part where God doesn't just defend you, he deploys you. And what you're about to discover next will explain why the enemy fought so hard to keep you confused. Beloved chosen one, as we come to the end of this divine appointment, I need you to hold on to 3 eternal truths that will anchor your soul in the storms ahead. First, you are not an accident walking through random suffering. You are a strategic assignment wrapped in human flesh, positioned by heaven for this exact moment in history. Second, every attack you've survived wasn't proof of God's absence, it was evidence of your dangerous calling. The enemy doesn't waste ammunition on nobodies. And third, the silence you've endured wasn't abandonment. It was preparation for the roar that's about to come out of your spirit. But here's what I need you to understand with absolute certainty. You are not walking this path alone. Even when your phone doesn't ring, even when your family feels distant, even when the church seems to have forgotten your name, the God who spoke galaxies into existence is still speaking purpose over your life. He hasn't brought you this far to abandon you now. And beyond that, you have a community right here. Thousands of chosen ones just like you, carrying the same anointing, fighting the same battles, refusing to give up. We see you. We stand with you. We will pray with you. So let me ask you this. Now that you know the enemy's plan, now that you see the trap, Now that you understand you've been protected, what will you do with this revelation? Before you go, let me place my hand on your shoulder and pray over you with everything in me. Almighty God, Father of heaven and earth, I lift up every precious soul hearing these words right now. You know their name. You know their address. You know the battles they've fought in secret and the tears they've cried alone. Lord, I'm asking you to break every chain of isolation tonight. Shatter every lie of irrelevance. Destroy every weapon of fatigue and forgetfulness. God, breathe fresh fire into their bones. Open their eyes to see the angels you've stationed around them. Let them feel your presence so powerfully that doubt has nowhere to land. Provide for their needs, financial, physical, emotional, spiritual. Restore relationships the enemy tried to destroy. Give them dreams that remind them their story isn't over. And Father, use them. Use their pain as medicine for others. Use their scars as credentials. Use their survival as testimony that you still move mountains. In Jesus' mighty name, Amen. Now I need to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me what shifted in your spirit today. What did God speak directly to your heart? And if you need prayer, tell us. This community will surround you. Share this message with someone who needs to know they're not forgotten. Someone sitting alone right now, wondering if God still sees them. Be the answer to their prayer. If this word fed your soul, subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell. We're building something powerful here, a movement of awakened warriors who refuse to fade quietly. Thank you for staying until the very end. That tells me everything about your heart. You are chosen. You are covered. You are not finished. Now go and roar.